Now, the Alashan League is located to the west of the Inner Mongolia Autonomous Region. It's one area which has seen decades of fierce effort to fight land turning into barren desert. Liu Ying examines conservation efforts there as well as in other places across the country.
I'm now standing on the Alashan Desert at the western end of the Inner Mongolia Autonomous Region. It's the second largest desert in China and fourth largest in the world. The Alashan is considered a major source of sandstorms, which blasted North China over the past decades. The battle to hold back the desert in Alashan over the past decade has had some success. Official figures show the speed of desertification has fallen from 1,000 square meters a year at the beginning of this century to 280 square meters. But the sands are still coming. Ma Yanwei, the project director of the environmental NGO SEE, believes the environment is still in danger.
Alashan faces two main ecological problems. First, desert plants such as the Saxal tree are gradually degenerating. The acreage of Saxal forest has shrunk from 14 million hectares in the 1970s to less than 6 million hectares today. Second, as farmland expands, agricultural production has led to significant reduction of groundwater. If the situation continues, in decades the ecology may rupture or even collapse.
Ma Yanwei believes it's essential to help the local herdsmen adopt a more ecologically friendly way of production and living. With their support, some herdsmen have shifted from grazing to growing the medicinal herb kistanchi, which grows on the Saxal. This has made people aware of the importance of protecting the trees.
In the past, saxals were only seen as the food of camels, but now herdsmen realize saxals are important for protecting the environment. And if saxals thrive, so does kistanchi. That means more income for us.
Na Renbatu is also a beneficiary of the SEE project. He now cooks on the new, more efficient stove.
By using the new stove, we can save on Saxal firewood by almost half. We used to use one such basin of Saxal firewood to cook one meal, but now we can cook 3 meals with the same amount.
But fighting desertification is just one of many environmental challenges that China faces. And as conservation awareness rises, so are efforts. In the Xiaoxian Mountains in northeast China, excessive deforestation over the past decades has reduced forest resources by more than half. The local government is aiming at a comprehensive halt to logging, even if that means lower revenues.
The methodology of scientific and sustainable development shouldn't be lip service. We need to log less and plant more to achieve a sustainable utilization of the forest.
And shrinking forests mean the loss of habitats of many animals. Manchurian tigers are on the brink of extinction. The 10,000 big cats living in the wild number fewer than 20 today. Dr. John McKinnon from the EU-China Biodiversity Program believes China still needs to do more to turn around the situation.
The problem is a vast ecological crisis looming. Now we've released climate change, and it's coming. And we can't stop that either, but we can reduce its effects a lot by doing a lot more reforestation, but particularly natural regeneration, allowing degraded habitats to recover. That would very quickly make a difference to the CO2 output. And China is to me the only hope of the world getting really through this challenge. It's much, much bigger than the current economic crisis or any other crisis.
From desertification and shrinking forests to decline in biodiversity, I have seen much of the impact of environmental degradation during my journey. And when environment suffers, so do the people. More and more people have realized that China's economic prosperity should not be achieved by sacrificing the environment. The battle to protect it will be long and difficult, but it's the only way to sustainable development, both for the country and its people. Liu Ying, CCTV, Inner Mongolia Autonomous Region. During the past 3 weeks, I've visited many places in North China and seen some of the impact of environmental deterioration. For example, desertification has prompted herdsmen to rethink their way of grazing. Dwindling fishing stocks are forcing the people of the He ethnic group to change a means of livelihood that has supported them for generations. I've also interviewed ordinary people trying to make a difference. Among them are plant breeding experts devoted to improving the environment, a herdsman who has used the legal system to safeguard his grassland, and a municipal party secretary with vision and courage. He's determined to never sacrifice the well-being of people to short-term economic benefits. By telling their stories, I hope more people will be inspired, and together we can change things for the better.
Our agriculture is a big part of Chinese life and the Chinese economy. Anhui province has long been the center of several rural reforms. Our reporter Xu Zhaojun traveled to Anhui to see how farmers there are now using arable land in different ways as they adapt to changing policies.
At this time of the year, Gao Xing's only job is to inspect the rice flourishing in his 40 hectares of fields. 7 years ago, Gao was no different from any other farmers in this province. The yield on the small patch of field assigned to his family was only a few thousand yuan a year. Now, he is the richest farmer in the village, managing the largest area of rice fields, most of which are circulated from his neighbors.
After paying the circulation fee to my fellow villagers, my income is still considerable. It's almost 20 times what I earned 10 years ago. Intensive farming is much better than individual ones.
Gao is not the richest in the area with his traditional way of farming. A company signed a land contract with Gao's neighboring village and set up a farm raising tortoise, which is traditionally considered very nutritious and tonic, especially for man. The males in the village dig more pools in their fields for raising more tortoises, and their wives are all employed by the company to look after jiao bai, an aquatic vegetable much more expensive than grains.
Being an employee is of course much better than planting rice. I just come and live on time, get paid every month, don't have to worry about the details.
The corporatization of agriculture is indeed bringing much more wealth to both farmers and the firms.
The farmers get subsidized by the government. They are also paid for circulating their fields to our company, and they receive a salary by working for us on the fields. Some idle lands which belong to those migrant workers are also reused.
But worries still exist. The ecology is being improved. Egrets begin to settle down here. Egrets eat jiao bai, but farmers can do nothing to stop them. Doing harm to the wildlife is illegal. Crop raising is not profitable enough unless the land is used for other purposes, and it means farming lands are becoming less and less. This is not an issue for any individual farmers, but it really is for the entire country.
This story in Anhui province is the final of my 10 stories in the series China on the Move. Most of the previous 9 stories were about the rapid development in the eastern provinces. But Anhui, right next to the prosperous coast, including Zhejiang and Jiangsu, fails to make top 10 in China's GDP list. The reason I chose Anhui as my destination is the province's noted agricultural reform. This has brought unprecedented changes to the people, and China cannot achieve a full development without a successful reform in the rural sector. In the last 20 days, we traveled to 6 provinces and 1 municipality. It is so encouraging to find lots of things the People's Republic can be proud of. And it is even more encouraging to see that the people are still not content with all that has been achieving. And this is exactly what we want to show in the series China is on the Move. Xu Daojun, CCTV.